Made it more better how the roads got loot. Vibe like, I don't know what I'ma do. Just had to sing a song just to cope with the mood. Like, do.
Okay, we're going to find f sub rst for f of rst is equal to r times s squared plus t squared. Okay, so let's figure out what do we have to do here. So first of all, we're going to take our f and we're going to take the partial derivative with respect to the closest variable. So that would be our r, right? That's the closest variable. And then the next step is to differentiate or take the partial derivative with respect to the next closest variable to f. So that would be our s. And then after that, our final step is going to be to take the partial derivative with respect to the outermost, which is that t out there. Okay, so it goes kind of backwards, basically. But that's how I like to think of it. What variable is positioned closest to the main function, the name of the main function. So in this case, that would be f, right? So anyways, so let's do the first step. We're going to find f sub r. Okay, so f sub r is the partial with respect to r of r times s squared plus t squared. Okay, so if we're taking the derivative with respect to r, that means r is the variable. So r is the variable, and s and t are constants. Okay, so these basically, this term here, right in the parentheses there, that makes up the coefficient of r. That's just like numbers, right? So that's what it's going to be, is basically the derivative with respect to r is going to be s squared plus t squared. Okay? So that's the first derivative there. And now what we have to do, in order to get f sub rs, we're going to add on that s, right? So we take the partial derivative with respect to s of f sub r. So that would be partial with respect to s of s squared plus t squared. Okay? And then if we do that, we're going to consider t a constant, right? So that's a constant. So that kind of just goes away in the differentiation. But s here, that'll become a 2s and then plus a 0. So we just get 2s, okay? And then for our last step, in order to get f sub rst, we added on that t, right? So we're going to do partial with respect to t of f sub rs, okay? And f sub rs turned out to be 2s. So this is going to be partial with respect to t of 2s. And here we see how our s we're treating as a constant because the only variable is t. That's what we're treating it as. And since there are no t's, the derivative is going to be a 0. All right, so that is the final answer for capital F sub RST. Okay, so that's basically it. Again, with this kind of problem, it's just important to see the order of things, in which order you're supposed to differentiate with respect to which variables and at what time. Okay, all right, so that wraps it up for this practice problems video for partial derivatives. I hope that helps, and happy studying.
Lover, yeah. How you living? Brother, are you building? What's your intentions with it? I told my pops these are folk songs.